The relationship between Jay-Z and Kanye West remains one of the most closely watched dynamics in hip-hop, as Kanye Music faces entry restrictions to the United Kingdom and the cancellation of his headlining slot at the Wireless Festival. Social media is erupting with speculation about rising tensions between the two artists. Jay-Z is said to have a role or position in the situation, while his silence only fuels further interpretation. On April 7, 2026, Music, the UK government barred Ye, the hip-hop artist formerly known as Kanye West, from entering the country over his history of anti-Semitism, leading to the cancellation of a music festival where he was due to appear as a headline act. And the Home Office told the BBC that they denied the application because they believed that his presence would not be conducive music to the public good. Kanye West was scheduled to headline all 3 nights of Wireless Festival Music on July 10th, 11th, and 12th. Ye was booked to perform in front of around 150,000 revelers at the open-air festival in London's Finsbury Park. 3 nights, 150,000 music people, and just like that, gone. Kanye West reportedly filed a travel application with the UK's Home Office on Monday. By Tuesday morning, as a result of the Home Office banning Ye from entering the United Kingdom, Wireless Festival has been forced to cancel. A statement from the music festival read, "All ticket holders will receive an automatic full refund." This ban didn't happen in isolation. The Chicago native has not faced similar backlash on home soil, having recently performed 2 sold-out shows at Los Angeles' SoFi Stadium in support, Music, of his new album, Bully. Just days earlier, Kanye was at the top of the world. Ye grossed $18 million in a single night at SoFi Stadium, the highest-grossing concert ever by a rapper, as 2 comeback shows earned $33 million combined. The sold-out SoFi Stadium performance featured a parade of collaborators and high-profile supporters, including Travis Scott and CeeLo Green, and a surprise appearance by Lauryn Hill. He had Lauryn Hill. He had Travis Scott. He had his daughter North performing on stage. He had $33 million in 2 nights, and then the UK said no. And that's where Jay-Z enters the picture, because while Kanye was selling out stadiums and getting banned from countries, Jay-Z has been watching. And those who follow this story closely know that Jay-Z doesn't need to say anything loudly for his message to land. The man who once called Kanye his little brother has been operating in a different orbit entirely. And the distance between those 2 orbits has never been wider than it is right now. Last year, Kanye was denied a visa to enter Australia after the release of his song Heil Hitler, which was condemned and banned on multiple platforms. Music. Now, the UK and the mayor of the southern city of Marseille, France's second biggest city, recently stated he does not want West anywhere near his city. The walls are closing in on Kanye's international presence, Music, while Jay-Z sits comfortably at the intersection of business, legacy, and global respectability. That contrast, Music, that's the message. Look, to understand the weight of what's happening right now, you have to understand where these 2 men came from together. The 2 had been working together since the 90s, when West was recruited to produce tracks for Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records. Music. Before Kanye West was a rapper, before he was a fashion mogul, before he was Ye, he was the kid from Chicago who fought tooth and nail for a chance to rap on the label he was producing hits for. And it was Jay-Z's label that gave him that chance. Kanye produced some of the most iconic beats in Jay-Z's catalog, the soul-sampling chipmunk style that redefined what mainstream hip-hop could sound like. The pair forged a creative bond that was both commercial and personal. From Ye producing Jay-Z's songs in the early 2000s to creating one of the most popular joint albums of the 2010s, the 2 famed artists have had a long history with each other. That joint album, of course, was Watch the Throne, Music released in 2011. It was a cultural monument. 2 of the biggest artists in the world uniting for a music project that celebrated their shared dominance. Niggas in Paris became an anthem. the Watch the Throne tour was a spectacle of unmatched proportions. Jay-Z would describe the dynamic in familial terms. Appearing on David Letterman's Netflix series, "My next guest needs no introduction," Jay-Z insisted, "That's my brother, Music. Like literally, my little brother is Kanye. And like your little brother, things happen sometimes." That might be the most loaded statement Jay-Z ever made about Kanye, because what happened between them didn't just happen. Oh, it escalated and escalated and escalated, until two men who once stood on the same stage, as equals, found themselves standing in completely different worlds. Music. Jay sat down with the BBC's Zane Lowe to talk about the prospect of a second Watch the Throne tour. He described his relationship with West as a big brother thing and a respect thing, and said that it's always a good experience. He clarified that their interactions weren't always easy. He's going to challenge everything because he's really trying to test it and poke holes to make sure that it stands up. I admire that. It kind of works for me. That admiration was genuine. Jay-Z saw something in Kanye that reminded him of his younger self. The hunger, the ambition, the refusal to be told no. Dear, but what happens when the person you champion becomes someone you no longer recognize? What happens when the little brother starts doing things so inflammatory, so destructive, that silence becomes the only statement you can afford to make? Because that's precisely what Jay-Z has done. Music. He's been silent, strategically, deliberately, almost surgically silent. And in hip-hop, in the world of power moves and billion-dollar empires, silence from Jay-Z isn't neutral. It's a verdict. The unraveling of Kanye and Jay-Z's relationship didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, painful deterioration that played out across stages, social media platforms, music interviews, and eventually court documents. In an almost 2-hour-long interview with Charlemagne Their God, West revealed that tension between him and Jay-Z worsened when the Carters didn't attend his wedding. Music. He said, "I was hurt about them not coming to the wedding. I understand they were going through some things, but if it's family, you're not going to miss a wedding." That hurt was real. Kanye wore it publicly, which is something Jay-Z has historically refused to do. And this fundamental difference in how these two men process conflict became the engine of their breakdown. Kanye turned pain into spectacle. Jay-Z turned pain into strategy. Although Beyoncé and Kim Kardashian were reported to have bonded during the Watch the Throne tour, neither Jay-Z nor Beyoncé attended West's wedding in Fort de Belvedere in Florence, Italy. Their absence fueled rumors that there was tension between West and Jay-Z. The situation intensified dramatically when Kanye went on stage during his St. Pablo tour Music in 2016 and aired his grievances with Jay-Z publicly in front of Music thousands of fans. He talked about Jay-Z and Beyoncé. He talked about their children not playing together. He laid bare what he perceived as abandonment and betrayal live on stage. Jay-Z's response came eventually, but on his own terms and in his own medium. One of the most notable instances of this is from back in 2017 when Hov was interviewed on Tidal's Rap Radar podcast, where he discussed his beef with Kanye West. Music. And what he said was measured. Devastating, but measured. You got hurt because this person was talking about you on a stage. But what really hurt me was, you can't bring my kids and my wife into it. Kanye is my little brother. He's talked about me 100 times. He made a song called Big Brother. We've gotten past bigger issues, but you brought my family into it. Now it's a problem with me. That's a real problem. He knows that he crossed the line, said Jay-Z. That phrase, "he knows that he crossed the line," has echoed through every subsequent chapter of this saga. Because Kanye didn't just cross one line, he kept moving through one line after another. Each crossing was more destructive than the last. And Jay-Z, the man of strategic silence, watched it happen from an increasingly untouchable distance. Kanye's remarks and public disclosures about their relationship, combined with social media outbursts, made private reconciliation more difficult. The Tidal lawsuit, the royalty disputes, the creative disagreements, layer upon layer of tension. She'd building a wall brick by brick between two men who once called themselves brothers. Despite their 2011 hit joint album Watch the Throne, Jay-Z and Kanye West have had a questionable history over the past few years. And the question mark hanging over that history has only grown heavier with each passing year, each controversy, each headline. While the Jay-Z and Kanye rift was playing out in interviews and encoded lyrics, Kanye embarked on a trajectory that no one, not Jay-Z, not the industry, and not his fans, could have predicted. Kanye, who now goes by Ye, has been under intense condemnation over the last few years after he began spewing controversial, problematic rhetoric about various groups of people on social media. It started with the MAGA hat. It intensified with the TMZ interview where he suggested slavery was a choice. He then came the anti-Semitic remarks on social media in late 2022. Music and statements so egregious that they cost him virtually everything he'd built commercially. He built a parallel fashion empire through Yeezy, his collaboration with Adidas, which Adidas terminated in October 2022 following his public anti-Semitic statements. Adidas didn't just end the deal. They terminated a partnership that was generating billions. Balenciaga cut ties. Gap dissolved their arrangement. Talent agencies dropped him. The commercial infrastructure Kanye had spent years constructing evaporated in weeks. Last year, West, who now goes by Ye, released a song titled Heil Hitler and listed a t-shirt for sale on his website bearing a swastika. A song titled Heil Hitler. That's not a misinterpretation, that's not taken out of context. That is the actual title of a song released by a man who once made Jesus walks. He also showed up to an interview donning a Ku Klux Klan robe. The provocations weren't mistakes or outbursts in the heat of the moment. They were deliberate, repeated, and escalating. Every time someone thought he'd reached the bottom, he found a new flaw to break through. And then came the attacks on Jay-Z's family. In April 2025, Kanye shocked audiences by making deeply offensive music remarks about Beyoncé and Jay-Z's twins. The rapper posted multiple messages on social media questioning why the younger Carter children maintained lower music public profiles compared to their older sister Blue Ivy. The situation escalated when Kanye Music used an ableist slur to describe the Carter twins and made inappropriate comments about artificial insemination and reproductive choices. Music Ye called Beyoncé and Jay-Z's children retarded. Ye later deleted the posts, but assured his fans that it wasn't out of fear of the 99 Problems rapper. Instead, he deleted them out of fear of having his ex-account banned. "I'm so mad I took that down," Ye added. "Remember what Jay-Z said in 2017? You brought my family into it. Now it's a problem with me. That's a real problem." Kanye did exactly what Jay-Z said was the unforgivable line, and then he went further. He didn't just mention Jay-Z's children, he attacked them with language that is indefensible by any standard. Sources revealed that Kanye's posts about Beyoncé's children affected relationships beyond the Carter family. How? Kim Kardashian reportedly felt terrible about her ex-husband's behavior, acknowledging he had crossed serious boundaries. The reality star and Beyoncé allegedly discussed contacting members of Kanye's inner circle to encourage him to seek mental health treatment. Insiders described the situation as a major crisis, noting that despite anger and disgust over his actions, there remained sadness about the path he was following. Jay-Z didn't respond publicly. He didn't post. He didn't release a diss track. He did what he always does. He let time and consequences do the talking. And the consequences have been staggering. In January 2026, art and the music. West took out a full-page advert in the Wall Street Journal apologizing for his prior behavior, writing, "I am not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people." West took out a full-page advertisement in the Wall Street Journal apologizing for his behavior, attributing it to manic episodes caused by bipolar disorder. He has since said he was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder and instead has autism. The apology was met with scrutiny. Kanye West faced backlash for failing to apologize to Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and their children in his recent apology to the Jewish and Black communities. Ye made derogatory comments about Beyoncé and Jay-Z's twins, Music Rumi and Sakata, in April 2025, sparking outrage among social media users. He apologized to communities but not to the specific individuals he had targeted. And among those individuals, Jay-Z Music and his family were the most prominent omission. Kanye West's recent public apology generated significant backlash from social media users who noticed conspicuous absences in his statement. While the rapper addressed his anti-Semitic remarks and sought forgiveness from Jewish and Black communities, he failed to acknowledge specific individuals he targeted during his controversial social media tirades, particularly Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and their children. Then came the Bully album, the SoFi shows, the $33 million payday, and the announcement that he would headline all 3 nights of Wireless Festival in London. Kanye West's last UK performance was his Glastonbury headline, set in 2015. He hadn't set foot on a UK stage in over a decade, and the prospect of his return immediately set off a firestorm. The shock move follows mounting pressure from major sponsors, campaign groups, and even UK leaders over the festival's decision to book the controversial rapper as its sole headliner, despite his anti-Semitic and pro-Nazi comments in recent years. Pepsi, PayPal, and Diageo, among other brands, all pulled out of sponsoring the festival in recent days in protest of Ye's booking. While Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer called it deeply concerning, almost immediately British commentators and public officials condemned the festival's booking, with London Mayor Sadiq Khan saying the decision was not reflective of London's values. While Prime Minister Keir Starmer called the situation deeply concerning, the festival organisers tried to hold the line. Melvin Benn, the managing director of Festival Republic, which co-promotes Wireless alongside Live Nation, had issued a statement defending West's music, past comments, calling them abhorrent but pleading for forgiveness and giving people a second chance. Kanye himself tried to intervene. West made a statement saying he had been following the conversation around wireless music and wanted to address it directly. "My only goal is to come to London and present a show of change, bringing unity, peace, and love through my music," he said, offering to meet members of the Jewish community in person to listen. "I know words aren't enough," West said. "I'll have to show change through my actions. If you're open, I'm here." But it wasn't enough. The Board of Deputies of British Jews responded to Ye's statement by saying, "We are willing to meet Kanye West as part of his journey of healing. But only after he agrees not to play the Wireless Festival this year." Then came the ban. Kanye West should never have been invited to headline Wireless, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said on social media. "This government stands firmly with the Jewish community, and we will not stop in our fight to confront and defeat the poison of anti-Semitism. We will always take the action necessary to protect the public and uphold our values." Because Ye was booked to headline all 3 nights from July 10th to 12th, organisers were unable to find a comparable replacement on such short notice, leading to the decision to scrap the entire event, not just Kanye's slot, the entire festival. 15,000 ticket holders refunded. Now, music here is where Jay-Z's position becomes the loudest message of all. And Jay-Z isn't just Kanye's former collaborator and former music friend. Jay-Z is, in many ways, the establishment that Kanye has railed against. Jay-Z partnered with the NFL for the Super Bowl halftime show. Jay-Z built LVMH partnerships. Jay-Z constructed a brand that is welcomed, celebrated even, in every boardroom, every government, and every cultural institution on the planet. Jay moved into a guarded, legacy-oriented role: entrepreneur, family privacy, music, brand stewardship. While Kanye was releasing Heil Hitler and getting banned from countries, Jay-Z was protecting his family, music, building his empire, and saying nothing. And that nothing speaks louder than any diss track ever could. Because consider the contrast. Jay-Z can walk into any country on earth. He can headline any festival. He can sit at any table. Kanye is now banned music from the UK and Australia. The mayor of Marseille recently stated he does not want West anywhere near his city. The world is shrinking for Kanye West, while its music continues to expand for Jay-Z. The relationship between his creative legacy and his sustained public anti-Semitism has been one of the most debated and unresolved questions in popular culture for the past several years. The UK government's decision today does not resolve that question. Music. But it draws a clear line about what one country is willing to tolerate at its borders. Jay-Z doesn't need to send a message to Kanye. The message is his life. The message is the distance between where they both stand right now. One man is building generational wealth and institutions. Music, surrounded by family, respected by governments, and insulated from controversy. The other just had an entire festival cancelled because a country decided his presence, music, would harm the public good. The controversy surrounding Kanye's incomplete apology raises broader questions. Music, about public accountability, and whether general statements suffice when specific individuals suffer targeted attacks. Critics argue that apologizing to broad communities while ignoring personal victims suggests incomplete understanding of the harm caused or unwillingness to face those most directly affected. As discussions continue about what constitutes meaningful accountability, music, Kanye's situation illustrates challenges public figures face when attempting to repair reputations damaged through years of controversial behavior affecting both communities and individuals. Chia and the people closest to both men understand this dynamic. Kanye's shows may still draw crowds, and his music peers may still appear alongside him. But each cosign now lands differently, refracted through the unresolved fallout of his anti-Semitic remarks and provocations. Music. Jay-Z's chilling message to Kanye isn't a statement, a social media post, or a lyric. It's the reality that while Kanye fights to be allowed into countries, Jay-Z has never had a door closed to him. It's the reality that while Kanye publishes apologies, music, in the Wall Street Journal that people question the sincerity of, Jay-Z has never had to apologize for who he is on the world stage. It's the reality that when Jay-Z said in 2017, music, he knew that he had crossed the line. Jay-Z was done talking. Because from that point forward, Jay-Z decided that the consequences of Kanye's choices would speak for themselves. And today, with the UK ban, with the Wireless Festival cancelled, with 150,000 ticket holders getting refunded, and with the entire world watching Kanye West's international career shrink in real time, those consequences have never spoken louder. Music. The two men who once stood together on the Watch the Throne stage, who once declared themselves kings of the world in tandem, now exist, music, in completely different realities. One is a cautionary tale about what happens when genius is consumed by its worst impulses. The other is a case study in how silence, music strategy, and restraint can be the most devastating weapon of all. Jay-Z didn't need to say a word. He never does. And that's the most chilling message of all.